How's it going, guys? I'm Chase Lee reporting for thatnerdshow.com, and I got another movie to review for you guys, and that would be 999. And hey, listen, I was looking forward to this movie. It's directed by John Hillcoat, who has done films like Lawless and The Road and The Proposition. And The Road is like one of my favorite movies that I've ever seen, and it's one of my favorite movies in my collection. So I was really excited to see kind of John Hillcoat's take on like a heist movie and like a corrupt cop movie and stuff. So how was this? Okay, this one's kind of tricky because I think it's a very solid movie, but well, let's get real and break it down. Let's talk about it. So let's talk about the directing and the writing. Now, the writing to me wasn't really like that inventive. We've seen corrupt cop stories before, but what I like about the direction from this film is that it did feel gritty. It felt suspenseful in some scenes. The tension was there. I appreciated some aspects about some scenes that were built up for suspense and the grit that was handled in this film, because it did feel like we were on these streets for real. I felt like we were following these cops in their day-to-day lives and stuff. So I get that. I like that part. It felt really grounded in reality. Love it. I think here's where the problem comes in. So those are all my pros. Here are the cons. I think there's too much going on. There's a lot of characters in this one, and some characters receive more attention than the others, and I get that. That's a part of a story. You have your main characters and you have your side characters, but it seems like everyone's kind of pick and pull, trying to pick and pull from the main character slot. It just seems too busy, it's too convoluted at some parts, and the way the movie ends, I'm just like, okay, like it's not really like the best ending in the world for me, even though like the whole movie leading up to it was very entertaining. I just think there was too many characters, too many plots going on, and it was a little too cliche because we've seen corrupt cop stories before, and all the twists and turns that happened in this movie, I was like, I mean, I kind of saw it, from the beginning and stuff. I mean, there was a couple of really kind of graphic, violent moments and stuff. That was kind of cool because that caught me off guard, and the way it was shown, like I said, puts you in that reality type of environment, and it feels real. It feels like we're watching this documentary, not this movie. So that is a part of the good directing on Hillcoat's part. But I just think the writing is very standard. It's very paint by the numbers, corrupt cop movie. Everyone's connected to someone. I mean, from the beginning of the movie, you know who's bad and who's good. And that's why I say I have to be really careful on how I talk about this because I don't spoil anything. So I just will tell you that everyone's connected, and you don't know who's too corrupt or who's too good, or I don't know. That's the best way I can describe it without spoiling anything. So that would be my critiques on the directing and the writing. And I have to add, like I said, the violence felt really brutal and kind of visceral, and I felt like I was watching real life violence happen. So like I said, it just added that extra level that you need for this type of movie. Acting wise, you have everyone under the sun in this movie. You have Chiwetel Ejiofor, Casey Affleck, Woody Harrelson, Kate Winslet, Gal Gadot, Anthony Mackie, Clifton Collins Jr. Who am I missing? Aaron Paul, Norman Reedus. I mean, hell, everyone's in this movie, and like I said, everyone was fine. I didn't really find any breakout scenes or breakout moments in the movie where I was like, that was the standout. I thought everyone just kind of like, they did well and they supported the story, and they all kind of just like melded together, and it was like, no one really stood out to me. Not to say the movie wasn't solid and I didn't enjoy the performances. It's like no one stood out among the wolf pack, if you will. Here are some of my cons. Kate Winslet's character, she's kind of a little too one-note villainy for me, where it's just like, moo-ha-ha-ha type of villain. Not like that extreme, but like, I just didn't really find her interesting as a villain. Like I said, I gotta be careful, no spoilers. But I just didn't find her that intriguing or that enthralling. It's just like she was there and she got in everyone's way, and I was like, just get out of the way. Everything else around you is amazing, but you are not. And these type of movies, you gotta have a good villain, and she's supposed to represent like the mobs and stuff, and like she's higher up on the police, and she controls the police department. I get that. She didn't really add anything new to that type of character, and she was just wasn't that interesting in the long run. I guess another okay character would maybe be what do I think of? Gal Gadot. I mean, it seemed like she had more of a pivotal role than you would expect when you see the story kind of unfold, and she was just kind of there, in and out, and she didn't really add anything to it. So I guess those would be my two main ones. Everyone else was just fine. Some people have more screen time than others, and it's just, everyone's pretty much awful in this movie except for like maybe a couple people. And then at the end of the movie, you're like, what? Like, I just spent 2 hours and lead up to that. So the acting all around was very supportive of the story. Just no one stood out. And I thought Kate Winslet and Gal Gadot were just not my cup of tea, and they were just a little weak on my end. And there were a couple of characters besides them, like a couple of the guys seemed a little too one note. Like I said, very basic or just underdeveloped. This is a tricky one, guys, because I was entertained. I was enthralled by most of it. There was some tension in some scenes, but it's just the acting all around was it was fine. It was okay. Cinematography wise, I think they filmed on the streets of Atlanta. And like I said, I think adding that sense of realism when they're on the streets and they look like they're in these crappy cars, and it looks like, they're not even on a set. It looks like a couple of actors were riding around in the car pretending to be cops and, talking to real life people on the streets. And I really appreciated that because it had that nice urban touch to it. That didn't seem fake. It seemed like they shot in the city, and it didn't feel like any set whatsoever. So I love the urban feel to it, to ground it in that realism. Editing wise, the movie's about 2 hours long, and I like I said, I was intrigued, and I wanted to know what was going to happen. I think I was more intrigued by the ending, and that's what kind of kept my attention. But like I said, it was so kind of okay that I was just sitting there going, okay, when are we going to get to some good stuff that stands out? And there were a couple of scenes that were filled with suspense and filled with tension, and you felt the stakes during that scene. You felt the anger, you felt the fear in these characters. So it's really weird that like some of these scenes in the movie that were so great and that stood out, the rest of the movie was just kind of So I don't know, man. So that's the editing. So I guess my overall thoughts are, hey, listen, the writing is not that grand. The story, it just seems like we've seen better and more corrupt cop movies than this one. It's not the only one. It's not the first kid on the block. The directing is good. It's solid because it does add a sense of grounded realism in that type of flavor, and the violence is really brutal and visceral. So I do appreciate on that front. And I guess it's a 999 out there. Acting all around is solid. It supports the movie. Kate Winslet, Gal Gadot, not my cup of tea. The cinematography is good, and the way the movie's put together, it's edited with its pace. Like I said, there were scenes and moments that were fantastic that stood out, but then the rest of the movie was just kind of eh. However, even though I got a lot of gripes with that, I still think overall it is a entertaining, solid movie, and I'm going to give it a B. So, I mean, listen, is this a movie that you should rush out to go see? No. Matinee, I would say even that's pushing it. If you want to wait until this is on Redbox or Netflix or something, I would say wait for it. But for me personally, there were enough good moments and enough solid moments where I was like, I can't really give it below a C. So I think a B is pretty fair. But I wouldn't recommend it at full price. So I was entertained, but I just feel like I've seen these movies before. So I'm Chase Lee reporting for That Nerd Show. .com. This is a new website that I've done reviews for in the past, and hopefully I'll do more. So I don't just work for one. I work for them all. I work for all websites in Dallas. Not really. That is a lie. So I will see you guys next time. I'm Chase Lee, and tune in next time for whatever I review next. See you guys later. And the question to you is, have you seen 999 or have you even heard of it? Comment in the place with my face and let me know. I'll see you guys later.